Today, I'm going to share with you guys how I taught my first son. He right now is almost turning 9, but when we first started homeschooling, he was 4. So I am the one who taught him how to read. So if you're interested to hear my first year homeschooling, how it went, how I taught my son how to read with no curriculum needed, just keep on watching. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If it is your first time here, welcome. My name is Regina, Gina for short, and I am a homeschool mom of 3 kids. And on my channel, I talk about homeschooling, of course, but also motherhood, lifestyle, and anything in between. So if you like those types of videos, consider subscribing to the channel. Today, as I said, I'm going to tell you just my story on, starting homeschooling, why I didn't use a curriculum, my whole philosophy behind that, and why I did what I did. And this is not to say that this is the right way to do it or I did things the right way, teaching my son how to read. And because it was my first year homeschooling, don't use a curriculum. This video is not about that. This video is just telling you my story so I can encourage you in your journey. Regardless if you already have taught your child to read or haven't, I hope that this can offer you some type of encouragement. So let's get started. I started my homeschool journey I started thinking about homeschooling in 2018. That's when I was pregnant with my son. I have a whole video on my channel telling you why I started homeschooling, who convinced me, which was my husband. I have a video on my channel already, talking about that. So if you want to watch that video, that's a really good video for you to check out. But I started on my journey in 2018, basically. And once I decided that I was going to homeschool, that's when I started researching all the different methods, all the different curriculums, and I was so confused in what I wanted to do. There was so much information out there that I was kind of like, I have no idea what I wanted to do. And when it came to curriculum, I didn't know how my son actually learned. I didn't know anything about homeschooling. And I did have that public school mindset still in my head. So I read a lot of blogs, watched YouTube videos. I didn't have Instagram at the time, but regardless, Google was my best friend when it came to researching laws. I have a video on my channel all about Canadian laws because I am Canadian. I'm from Ontario, Canada, and here the laws are very non-existent, especially because my son only went to private school before. So he was in junior kindergarten, which is basically he was 4. He just turned 4. He was in junior kindergarten. So he did start in private school in junior kindergarten, and I've always been very involved in his education. Everything that he needed, I was very much involved. I've always been like that. So I did have a lot of resources already that I've bought just because I love learning. I love seeing my son learn. So even when he was in private school, I just really wanted to be involved in everything that he did. So once we decided to homeschool, I just looked up the laws. I saw that I didn't need really much anything, so I could just do whatever, I wanted. I was very confused about everything that was out there, the information, that I said to myself, okay, I have to de-school. I know I do, but I also don't want to spend so much money on curriculum. We were in between moving, so we were actually even moving into the country. I have a video on my channel telling you why I decided to move into the country. It's my testimony, so if you want to check that out, I'll also link that video here. But we were in between a move and homeschooling. I just had my son, Michael, which I am teaching him how to read now. And I just finished having him, and I just didn't want to spend so much money because we were renovating our home that I said, you know what, I'm not going to pick a curriculum right now because I'm so confused in what I want to use. And then I wanted to kind of do the de-schooling process. They tell you, take a couple of months, get to know your child. And I'm like, ugh, I don't want to take that break to de-school because I'm like, my son's going to be behind. That's my whole process, right? The public school mentality, your kids are going to be behind, all that kind of stuff. So I was worried to, not use a curriculum, but I also said, okay, let me do my own thing. I also saw that Nicholas was a bit advanced for his age. Like, he knew a lot of the things that he had to know for first grade already. So that kind of put me at ease as well. So for senior kindergarten, we call it, just kindergarten, senior kindergarten, we call it here. But for kindergarten, I had a lot of different resources that I've already purchased when he was, young, just because I've always loved like learning through play. So I'm gonna go step by step on how our day would look like when we started to homeschool. And this, you'll see different things that I used to do, and this would teach him how to read essentially. So for Nicholas, I've always done morning time, morning basket, morning cart, whatever you want to call it. Even when he was in school, I used to do that. So that just consists of our Bible time, us reading our devotional, our calendar time. So I did do calendar time with him, and I don't use this anymore just because of the pieces. My daughter, I have 3 kids. So my youngest, she loves this, but she likes throwing it around a lot. But we use this a lot, which is my calendar from Melissa and Doug. And it served its purpose. We would do calendar time all the time in the morning, and that's how I taught Nicholas the days of the months of the year, days of the week, different seasons and that kind of stuff. So we'd go over that in the morning time. It was lots of fun. We would watch videos, and during our morning time was also where we did the national anthem. We would do geography as well. I had this little globe from Learning Resources that I didn't buy for homeschooling. I just had it already. And I also have another globe here in the back, which is like it's a globe that kind of has a pen and it kind of talks to you. And I didn't purchase that. That was my youngest brother's when he was in elementary school, and it's been in our family for so long. But anyways, I really like geography, so I would incorporate geography into our morning time, and the kids really liked that. And then we would memorize Bible verses. That's what we would do in the morning. We kept it very simple and sweet. I don't even think I did any poetry reading, and I would read a lot of books. Books were one of the things that I read a lot because I heard and I've researched that reading to your child is very, very important. So we read a lot. I wouldn't say a lot. I would be like 4 to 5 books in the morning. Just like that. We would just kind of get books from the library, books that I already had. I like purchasing books. I have a lot of books. So we'd rotate them and we would just read, and read. So that's what I would do in our morning time. I would also get Nicholas to help around the house. I always thought chores and responsibilities were very important. So I made sure that he would make a little list himself and he would do his little chores around the house. And mind you, he is 5 years old. Just turned 5, but he wasn't reading yet. He wasn't. So what I would go over with him in the morning is I had these charts. I have new charts right now, but this one's ones that I got from the dollar store. I had the ABCs. We would go over his ABCs and the sounds. We would go over his numbers up until 100. We would go over subtraction facts. I would use a lot of these like posters that you would just get from the dollar store. And I think they were like $1 each. I have different ones here. I even have times tables ones. So once he knew his letter sounds, I knew that he was ready to kind of blend words together. I would also use flashcards. I would use these flashcards that I got from, I think this is from the Canadian Curriculum Press. And we would go over different words, and once he would master it, so we would ugh, jug, and he would go over the different words, 3-letter words. And once he would master it, we would go to the next one. And this is not the order I would go in. There was an order for this, but it's all mixed up now. So yeah, so right over here, at. So we would just go over, like the back of it had words, and we would go over these little flashcards with him. That's what I would do with him. I would have sight word flashcards that we would go over. More flashcards. And these are just flashcards that I got from like dollar store. Very inexpensive, and I just put them in a ring. And that's how we would just kind of store them. Because I did not have a homeschool space. When I first started homeschooling, I would just do it in my dining room. It was pretty messy. Because I had my youngest, which he was kind of crawling and walking, and he would love messing up my dining room space. It was fun times. And then I also had these little sheets that I laminated, and we would just go over them like words families and rhyming word families and that kind of stuff. So I would just do a lot of like these little things that, you know, that everyone tells you to do. I was just kind of, you know, going at his pace, trying to make it fun, and it wouldn't take very long. I did have this sight word book. I believe it's from Scholastics. I can't find it for the life of me. I don't know where it went. I have this one over here, but I didn't really use it. It's Scholastics as well, but I didn't use it that much. So this is not the one that I use, but I can't find the one I use. I just know that I have the photocopies of the actual book. So I'll show you a couple of them. So right here, he would go over a sight word, and he would have a little worksheet that he would work on, and he would have to make a little sentences. He would have to cut out little pieces and paste them. He would have to trace the word and say it out loud, write the word. So he'd do little worksheets, like one of these a day. And we would focus on probably 3 to 4 sight words in a week. And then once he mastered them, we would go on. So you see here, that was his, I had just like a little binder from the dollar store. I put sight words with my label machine. And see here, SK Senior Kindergarten. I'm really happy I kept this so I could show you guys. So more sight words. So we'd go over his sight words and stuff like that. It was super simple, probably take him about 10 minutes to complete, 5-10 minutes to complete the little page. And then I also was subscribed to a subscription service online that is called Super Teachers Worksheets. I don't use it anymore just because I don't need to, but that helped me out a lot. And they have different activities, worksheets for $25 a year. That was back then, or was it $20? I don't remember. I don't know how much it is right now, but back then that's how much it was. And it was for the whole year. And I was able to kind of like pick and choose different activities for me to do with Nicholas. So they had these little letter like books, and I'll show you them. So when we were focusing on different letters, this is the beginning. I'm going out of order here. But in the beginning, when he was learning his letters, the lowercase and the uppercase letter, he would make a little book with the letter N. And I have all the letters here. So all of the letters he made little books for. And I got this all online with the subscription service of $25 Canadian a year. Don't use them anymore, like I said, just because I don't need to, but it goes all the way up until, I think, upper elementary. But it could have changed already, I don't know. And they had like little activities here. So right here, you'll see like an activity, black cat, tan cat, and we're learning about the short A sound. So we would just do different activities. We would have little book studies. Over here is our little book studies. And on this website, Super Teachers Worksheets, our book study was about polar bear, what do you see? And I had different activities for him to do with that book. It's a very common book, polar bear, brown bear. And they had little book, book studies. And for younger kids too, the kindergarten age. So this is one of them. So we were talking about the flamingo in the book. And it was like cute little things like this that I would do with him during our first year homeschooling. Brown bear, make a sentence. I see a brown bear. I see a red bird. And he would cut and paste. So he was working on his, cutting and pasting, but also a fun activity. And we would do little book studies like that. We did other ones too, but I did not keep all of them. So on that website, there was also different worksheets for the child to work on. And this is one of them that we were learning about ack, the sound A-C-K. And he writes the word, he colors the word, he circles the word, and there was different activities like that. So I would get a lot of different activities from this website that really, really helped me. But literally our days were basically like 20 minutes when it came to kind of sit down stuff. And then we would just really do a lot of like sensory activities. I was really big on making like little bins full of different activities for the kids to do. I was really big on like learning through play. Anyways, for math, same thing. I went on this Super Teachers Worksheets, and we would focus on a number, and we would write our numbers on the board. I had like little whiteboards from the dollar store, and we would do different addition facts. I did have this timed addition, which had different addition facts in it. I would just photocopy it. Didn't use this too much. I don't feel like I used that one too much, but I did have the Kumon books, or Kumon books, that simple subtraction and addition. And I would just photocopy it because I wanted to reuse it. And I would use these books for addition and subtraction. And then I also had, because I told you Nicholas was a little bit advanced, I had these little Canadian Curriculum Press books that you can get 3 books for reading, writing, and math, all for like $10, these books, all of these 3 at Costco. He would just do a page a day sometimes. If I wasn't doing, you know, the other activities, this is what he would do. He didn't even finish the whole book, but it just gives you kind of like a little bit of an idea of what he did. So you can see that. And then for math, same thing, these little books. But I did have a math binder with him with different activities that I would do with him. I just don't know where it is for the life of me. But Nicholas really loved money. Money was a very huge thing with him. He liked counting money. He liked identifying money. I actually have a poster board with different currencies in Canada. But I had always this cash register from Learning Resources. And I bought this when he was very, very young. And we would do a lot of activities where I would, you know, do little post-it notes on certain items around the house, and he wouldn't use this. Actually, he would use like a little piece of paper, and he would do the math facts. And we'd learn about the different currencies, because I have the little coins in here, and, you know, bills. They're not real bills, but similar. And we would do that. There was one assignment that I got him to do, which was we would play almost every week, where I would give him a budget, and we would go to the grocery store, and he had to stay on budget. So he would actually have to pay for the items. I would give him 40 bucks. Okay, what can we buy with 40 bucks that we need? Let's make a list and do those kind of like life skills, which takes a little bit of time. It does take time to do, but it was so much fun. It was part of our experience. So when it came to math, that's kind of what I would do. And I would just really sometimes do that unschooling approach too. I wouldn't even know what kind of homeschooling style I was doing. I was just doing my own thing, and it was working. When it came to like unit studies and that kind of stuff, we would just read a lot of books. Nicholas wanted to learn about planets, because we did want to learn about planets when he was in kindergarten. We did a whole kind of we just read a lot of books on space, watched a lot of movies and documentaries and YouTube videos. So we even actually, on the Super Teachers worksheets, I remember there was like a whole little mini unit where we actually made a board game on space. I got like a little miniature solar system from the Dollar Tree that we worked on, and just kept it super simple and just did my own thing when it came to unit studies. One of my first videos on my channel is actually me doing a unit study with my son Nicholas, and it was the human body unit study, and it was how are babies made. I actually filmed it, and he asked me that question. So if you want to watch that video, it was my first video ever here on my channel. I can't even believe that was my first video. But it was, and I like making my own unit studies. I still enjoy doing that. I enjoy using curriculum, but I enjoy doing my own thing as well. Now, when it came to reading, one of the things that I would always do with Nicholas is I have a lot of readers. So this is my, let me see all the readers I have here. I don't have level A, guys. Okay, so I have these first little readers that I used to use with Nicholas, and every single day we would get a reader and he would read one of them. And once he's mastered that reader, we would go to the next one. Almost like an assigned reading for him. So he would just read the different little readers here. I think the readers have, how many do they have in here? Like 20 something, 25 readers. So this is from Scholastics. So I have a bunch of them, see? They're different levels. So as he would progress, this one is a science one. This is one of our favorite ones, is the science guided readers. So there's this one from Scholastics. There's this one over here. This one, I love this one. And this one is sight word readers. There is this one here, level C, little first readers. We do have the Bob book, and I actually have the beginner ones as well. This one is for advanced beginners. Nicholas didn't really like the Bob books. He wasn't really a huge fan of them. I think the illustrations, he just wasn't liking them. So we didn't actually even complete the Bob books because it wasn't his thing. But I want to see if my youngest actually likes Bob books, because I do have other ones up there. But I just wanted to show you that this is one of the things that we tried and he didn't really like. I had this one. This was my sister's when she was growing up, and it has 12 little books of Clifford, and they're for phonics readers as well. So we went through that. So I had a lot of different readers for him, and he would just go through them. I would also get readers from the library as well, which I don't have with me, but always check your library because they always have different readers that you can take out, so you don't have to spend the money if you're on a tight budget. I actually have this Becca's Art Projects K5. We used a couple of the projects in here. I would just like kind of photocopy them. So we did kind of like some of that's okay. I mean, it was okay. I actually tried out also this one, God's World K5 from Becca. It was okay. I wouldn't repurchase it again, but we did that as well. And then I wanted to show you, because I talked about devotionals. And these were the 2 devotionals I remember us doing during our kindergarten, and it was this Duck Commander one and then this dinosaur one, because Nicholas was obsessed with dinosaur and still is. My kids love dinosaurs. So these were the 2 devotionals that we did during kindergarten for our year. And then we also did our garden in the spring. So Nicholas was very hands-on with, learning about, how to garden and stuff like that. We started it from seedlings all the way into growing them. And Nicholas actually never used to like carrots. And because we did our garden, Nicholas started liking carrots and different vegetables that we grew. He's not a picky eater anymore. And that was a really great experience for us, because it was our first year moving into the country, and we made this pretty good sized garden for us. We had watermelons, different types of peppers. We had corn, different types of lettuces, potatoes. Oh man, we had so much stuff. I'll put a little screenshot here of all the things that we did. But it was so much fun. So we did a lot of different things. And the number one thing that I took away from my first year homeschooling, because it wasn't all rainbows and sunshine, I would doubt myself a lot, because I was like, oh man, I'm not using a curriculum. I'm gonna fail my son. But I felt like God was calling me to do this my way, because I learned so much from myself, from my kids by doing this. And what I learned is that the curriculum is a guide for you at the end of the day. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm using a curriculum with my youngest to teach him how to read. I'm using The Good and the Beautiful. I'm using Elemental Phonics from JDA. I'm using different little readers that I have here. And one of them that I'm really loving, a new reader, is First Step Phonics, which is a new beginner reader that I've spoken about here on my channel before. And I have different resources that I use. But I think that the first year homeschooling was very important to me, because I learned so much about myself. And I learned that I sometimes doubt myself, but I'm doing it right, I'm doing the best that I can. And even if you don't have all these resources, you still can make your homeschool beautiful. And mind you, yes, it seems like I have a lot of stuff here, but these were things that I already had on hand even before I started homeschooling. It's just because whenever I tell people to give my kids gifts, it was always give them books, give them something to learn through play. So I use that, I utilize that as much as I could. So I just want this to encourage you that sometimes we think that the curriculum is what's going to teach the kid, but I think that your child does have to be ready, right? You can do your part, but you have to see that every child is different. I'm happy that I did not use a curriculum for my first year. Did I think that I did everything right, that everything that should have been done? Probably not, It was our first year homeschooling. I was learning a lot, and I wouldn't say that I'm a master of teaching someone how to read, but I think it did give me the confidence for me to be like, you know what, I'm doing this homeschool thing. Like, I got this. And yes, the curriculum is great, but it's a guide at the end of the day. And getting to know your child is so important, getting to know yourself and deschooling, because I feel like I really wanted to bring the school system into my homeschool so many times. And I had to learn the hard way and being like, no, we can't stay 8 hours learning. I'm doing one-on-one work. Usually kindergarten's like 20 minutes if we're gonna do something sit down because their attention span, right? And you think 20 minutes is nothing, 20, 30 minutes is nothing, but it can be so beneficial, those 20 to 30 minutes that you spend with your child. So I hope that this could give you some type of encouragement for you to trust the process, okay? For you not to doubt yourself so much and enjoy the experience. At the end of the day, it's gonna be your journey. It's not gonna be, you know, the other person's journey. It's gonna be yours. And I can confirm to you that I cried a lot in my first year homeschooling, just because I always was doubting myself, but that's okay. Like, I felt like I'm a crier. That's what I do. I love crying. I don't love it, but you know, that's how I kind of get my stress out. And a lot of people would tell me, don't worry, he's going to learn, he's so young, just let him be. But that would worry me even more. So I just want to encourage you to, you know, it's okay to have your bad days. It's okay to sometimes feel that doubt. It's part of the process. You care about your child, but know that your child will learn, and at their pace, which is beautiful too. If they were in public school, they would have to be in their grade. And if they're more advanced, you can go and do more with them. And if they're, you know, if your child needs a little bit more time, you can focus on the things that they do need a little bit more time with. So yeah, guys, that was what I used in my first year homeschooling. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.
I know that you feel all alone in this world, but you have to put your trust into us, and we will help you through, 'cause we only want what's best for you.